Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show, and if you want to avoid some rather serious mistakes in your life that are absolutely going to screw you up, watch this video all the way through. I came across this. It's titled 40 Brutal Truths I Wish I Knew in My 20s by Dan Martell, and it really hit me hard. So I want to go over this as soon as you hit the like button and subscribe, because I promise if you give this a watch, it's probably going to change your life. Oh, and also big thank you to Policy Genius for sponsoring this video, but more on that later.
Number one, don't make the mistake of becoming good at something you hate. When I started off, I thought I had to get great at everything. And it turns out that if you don't like something, if you hate doing numbers or doing sales calls or even doing customer support, when you get good at something you like doing, you can pay somebody else to take the things that you hate doing.
All right, so I'm gonna take a different approach on this one, but it's really pursuing the wrong career that's not for you. Like initially, when I wanted to go in the career in the workforce, I wanted to make money, and I thought investment banking is it. And I started at the very bottom at an investment company doing data entry, and I knew immediately that was not for me. I had no interest whatsoever, and I was persuaded by everyone around me to be like, no, just stick with it, keep going on it. I just knew deep down that wasn't the path I was supposed to go down, and I stuck with it as long as I could, and eventually ended up quitting. It was actually a really traumatic experience to go through that, because I feel like I let so many people down who really put their name in for me. They really tried to take me under their wing. They did as much as they could, but like deep down, I had no interest in it. I felt it was the wrong choice. And when you have like a gut level feeling about something that you know is just not for you, it's usually worth it. Listen to yourself, go with your intuition, and do something that you're actually passionate about. The other aspect of this is that when you're really into something, you're more likely to stick through it when times are difficult, and then come out the other side even better. So if you're really into something, that's when you know you gotta go full force with it.
Number two, go to bed and wake up at the exact same time every day. If you take anything away from this video, having the time that you wake up every day to create, to be productive, and go to bed on time. Most problems would actually be solved if you went to bed on time.
You know, I completely agree with this one. I found that there are some times when I stay up really late and I just sleep in the next morning and be like, oh no, I got my 8 hours of sleep. But I'm sleeping until like 11 a.m. My whole day just gets completely sucked away. There's something about it where if you wake up at like 7 a.m. every day, even on weekends, you start getting accustomed to it, you feel better. There's so many studies out there that show that if you go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, you perform so much better. I completely agree with that. Also, if you're curious about it, sometimes you get hyper-fixated on stuff like this, but like the sleep trackers, I did the Aura Ring, and then I also tried 8 Sleep. Both of them give me a really good indication of like when it's the best time to go to bed, when is the best time to wake up, if I'm like waking up in the middle of the night. Like all these things I don't really think of that you can track and optimize. Like I learned if I have any alcohol before going to bed, like even one drink screws up my sleep by like 30%. It's like pretty bad. So by cutting that out, you end up making more money the next day. You feel better the next day. Like there's so many benefits to like really digging in your sleep and getting it perfect.
Number three, your body is the only one you have. Take care of it. When people are healthy, they have 1,000 goals and dreams they want to go after. When they're sick, they have one: get healthy. Most people treat their body like a beat up car, not like the $1 million thoroughbred horse it actually is.
I found the same thing too when I went to the gym every single day, like without fail. Just like I would post 3 times a week on YouTube, no matter what happened, like I'd always make that a goal and I would always hit those objectives. Going to the gym was the same thing. Like basically, like as long as I wasn't like physically sick, I would go to the gym, same time, every single day, pretty much no matter what. It was a non-negotiable for me. And I just felt, again, it's like when you do these things, they really stack and they compound. And I felt like I was so much better. I was so much more mentally like attuned when I went to the gym. I could think better. I could think more abstractly. I ended up making more money. I felt better. I acted better. And what I would do too at the gym is I'd put in, like, it sounds kind of cheesy, but like I'd listen to Tony Robbins at the gym. So like I'm gonna be at the gym anyway for like an hour. Imagine if I could listen to something at 2x speed and get like 2 hours of education while I'm at the gym. So it's like not only am I working out, but I'm also learning something at the same time. It's like you do those 2 things while waking up early, like the same time every day. Like all of these things end up like really benefiting you so much in the long term. Like I could stand by this 100%. It helps.
Normalize leaving people in whatever reality they have chosen. I used to argue with people. I used to get frustrated when people would try to sell me on their philosophy of
living a life that's not too stressed out, and why do you need to have more?
The cool part is I don't get upset anymore. I just don't acknowledge it. I just allow them to stay in that reality that they've chosen.
Yeah, that's another one that's so important. I've just stopped trying to like argue people or change their minds. There's so many people out there that you know what, they disagree with you, and I'm like, okay, totally fine. I just don't care. I mean, listen, with a lot of things out there, it doesn't matter to change someone's mind. It's a waste of time. I'm always down for a bit of a spirited debate if it's fun and in good company. But like, other than that, if someone's not interested in something, don't spend any energy on it. Just be like, okay, totally fine. Good luck. Move on. Save your time.
You get tested the most when it's your time to level up. When I was about to hit a new PR at the gym, I injured myself. When I was about to have a record month, somebody quit. And I always remind myself, in those moments, I get to prove to myself that I'm as good as I think I am when things are going great. God is asking me, do you really, really want this?
Now here's the thing, at the end of the day, there's really a lot that could happen that is outside of your control. And even though, yes, you're more likely to be able to like have a great day tomorrow, there's always a chance that you could get hit by a bus or something that could happen. And when it comes to that part, nearly half of Americans expect that if they passed away today, their loved ones would inherit their debt, and 41% don't have the life insurance coverage that they need, which is why our sponsor, Policy Genius, is there to help. For those unaware, Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace, making it easy to compare life insurance quotes from America's top insurers in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. On top of that, their team of licensed, award-winning agents work for you and not the insurance companies, so they don't have any incentive to recommend one insurer over the other. And they could walk you through the entire process step by step, answer any questions you have, handle all the paperwork, and help you make decisions with confidence, with thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. In fact, with Policy Genius, you could find life insurance policies that start at just $292 a year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. So check life insurance off your holiday to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Just head to policygenius.com/Graham or click the link in the description to get multiple life insurance quotes for free and see how much you could save. Again, the link is down below in the description. And now let's get back to the video.
Teach people how to treat you. I see this all the time, where a customer cancels a meeting and you say nothing. And then they continuously cancel meetings on you and you're just like, why do they always do that? You teach people how to treat you. If you don't set your standard, then people around you are going to continue to do things that frustrate you because you haven't said anything.
All of that is really just about setting a boundary of like what you're willing to tolerate. And as long as you just enforce it, people will respect it. Again, all of this stuff is so important that if you let people walk all over you, you don't respect yourself, no one else is gonna respect you or owes you anything. So I think it's extremely important that you do put up those boundaries for people, and if they're willing to walk all over them, it's probably better you just walk away.
Back when I was a teenager, I made a series of bad decisions that landed me in jail. And in that moment, I turned to God and I said, show me a sign. The fact that I was asking was the sign. The fact that I needed him was proof.
You know what, that's really interesting because I've never heard of it articulated that way. But when you are looking for a sign, you're like, hey, if this is the right choice, give me a sign. Like, he's kind of right. That should be the sign. That should be your intuition telling you, I'm just looking for an excuse to do this and I'll do it. But if I don't get the reason, it's not meant to be, chances are, he's right. I think that's fantastic. That's such a good way of looking at it.
The person that has the most power, the most confidence, the most status in a room is the person that needs nothing from anybody else. When you can get to a place where you don't need anything and you focus on you and what you can control, that's actually when abundance is going to show up into your life.
That's so true. As long as you're detached from the outcome and you're process oriented, meaning you're loving what you do without even like needing the outcome of something, things just naturally fall into place. It's so weird when it's like that, but when you're so clinging on to something, it usually avoids you, whatever that might be. As long as you just enjoy the process without needing anything in return, you're more likely just, again, to stick with it long term, be successful at it, get really good at it because that's what you love, and then in the process of doing it, you're gonna end up becoming successful. It's like the same thing as like really wanting to make a ton of money, let's just say, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna start a business that's gonna make a ton of money. Well, guess what? Grinding through a business that's gonna make a ton of money, probably not gonna make you a ton of money, at least not for a very long time. So to stick with something until it actually makes you a ton of money. Like, you have to love what you do, be obsessed with it, because if you're not, someone else is, and they're gonna dominate you in every single way possible.
Only ask for advice from people who have been where you want to go. If the person giving you advice has never achieved the thing you want to do, then their strategy is going to be flawed. It doesn't matter how many books they've read. It doesn't matter how many things they think other people have done. It doesn't matter how many stories that they share about things they heard from somebody else.
Yeah, a great saying is that you shouldn't accept advice from someone you wouldn't want to trade places with. So if that's the case, and someone's telling you what to do, but you don't want to live their life, don't listen to them, or at least listen to them with a very objective view. You could take it into consideration, but don't take it as gospel, because you're going to get a lot of criticism throughout your entire life. Figuring out what's worthwhile to listen to is really, really, really difficult and can be very nuanced. So I like to try to think objectively. I like to take criticism and think to myself, how does this apply to me? How can I improve from it? But like at the end of the day, if you're taking like literal advice from people, if you don't want to trade lives with them, it's probably best just hear it out, but ignore it.
You're allowed to just say no. I know that you're worried about hurting people's feelings, but what about your feelings? Have you ever said yes to somebody and you went to a thing and then you're there and you're like, why am I here? Or you get on a call with somebody that you don't know that somebody introduced you 3 months ago and you're like, why am I on this call?
You know what's really funny is that I actually did the opposite of this, and it was one of the best things I did. I started saying yes to everything. I was the type for really like almost all my life where I'd just say no to things. Just no. People would invite me out. No, I just don't feel like it, you know? I started pushing myself and just saying yes. Just because, you know, I figured, what's the worst case? If I'm gonna go home and, you know, just go to bed, I may as well say yes to this thing and have the chance of an opportunity. And just going and saying yes to things, so many doors opened up, so many great things came from it. And I don't think I really like regretted saying yes to things. I mean, obviously there's a few things where I could look back and be like, yeah, that was a waste of time. But like, you know, it's a numbers game. Like for every, you know, one thing that's a waste of time, maybe you have 2 or 3 things that like you look back on and you say to yourself, I'm really glad I said yes to that. So I would only start saying no when your time becomes so valuable that like you get so many opportunities, you can't say yes to everything, then start turning things down. But like early on, if there's not a better alternative, start saying yes to things. I do think it'll help.
You're driving, somebody cuts you off. You can use that moment to get road rage and get pissed off and start flipping them the bird and screaming at them. Or you can assume positive intent that maybe they're in a rush because somebody they love is in the hospital. Either one is as likely to be true. The second one enables you to not emotionally over-respond.
That one is especially true too. Sometimes, listen, I'll get annoyed if there's a slow driver in front of me, or you just hit every single red light, or you just happen to run late because you misplace your wallet and can't find it. That happens to me so many times. I've tried reframing all of those as just, hey, maybe if I didn't misplace my wallet, I would have, you know, gotten in a car accident, and maybe I would be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or maybe I would have gotten a speeding ticket because, you know, a police officer happened to be there while I was going a little too fast. I don't know. There's so many things that I try to reframe everything as like, all right, well, I guess I'm just not meant to be there because this thing that I didn't think of came up, and it is what it is. If you just let things go, everything tends to just fall into place. If you're running late for something, it's not really that big of a deal in the big picture. You're not going to look back 20 years from now and think, oh man, I can't believe that one time I was 5 minutes late because I couldn't find my wallet, and it was just so embarrassing to get to the place, and then I had to wait an extra 10 minutes in line because I was... You're never going to think it. You're going to forget about it in like a week, and it's not going to matter. So don't let it affect your life.
Confidence comes from keeping the commitments you make to yourself in private. Most of you want more confidence, but the truth is you erode that confidence every time you make a commitment that nobody else knows about and you don't follow through. You don't get up at 5 a.m. when you said you would. You don't go to the gym when you said you would. And every time you do that, you chip away at your confidence.
You know what, when it comes to this, I really don't like vocalizing my goals. I know it sounds silly. Like some people are all about, like, you know, talking about like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I usually just like to do it. There's been studies out there that show like when you start talking about those things, you get the positive emotions that are associated with actually doing the thing. Like let's say you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to start this business and it's going to do really well and I'm going to be selling this and I'm going to make so much money. You talking about that is going to give you the same dopamine hits as like actually doing the thing. And because it's like you're getting all this positive feedback from talking about it, you're less likely to actually follow through and do it. So I tend to have the belief that like the people who talk about things all the time never actually do it. I've seen that happen so many times that I prefer just keep things to myself, and then I'm just going to do it. And then the actions will speak for themselves in the process. There's no point like, telling people where you're going to just do it. Just save your time. Just start doing it.
The most powerful thing you have is the acknowledgement of somebody doing something great in your life. You never know when that word, that sentence, that moment might be the thing that actually could have saved somebody's life. You have no idea what people are going through around you, and that one compliment at the right time for the right person might be the thing they needed to stop a downward spiral.
You know what? It's also true on the reverse. If someone is like going after you, treating you really badly, insulting you, criticizing you, all that sort of stuff, making your life difficult, put yourself in their perspective too. Just think of what they might be going through at the same time, what their life must be like, and try to empathize with them. I know it's really difficult. If someone is like not treating you well, try to put yourself in their position. If even just to have empathy for that person of maybe they're struggling, maybe they had a really bad day, maybe their fuse is so short, maybe they're going through all this stuff that you have no idea about. Like just try for a moment to just let it go. Think that, they're in a position that could be worse off than you, and, treat them with respect. I know it's difficult. Long term, I do think that helps.
If you want to be a high-level person, don't spend time in drama and gossip. They're allergic to it. As soon as they hear it, they run away from it. Why? Because they're spending all their time in a place of opportunity and creation in the future. And in that space, there's no place for that drama and that gossip.
It's so funny when it comes to that. It's extremely true. Like when you're that busy and like every moment of your day has to be taken up to the highest level to get like actual work done, as soon as someone comes at you with like the drama and the stuff like this, it's just immediately, I'm like, I don't have time for this. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like we're doing all this other stuff, like anything else that's not this, just petty, it's just nonsense. It's a distraction. Let's not indulge in it. It's true. Just keep a focus, do nothing but that focus. Everything else is gonna fall into place. And really, nothing else matters.
You want to understand that what you've got today, you should be crazy grateful for, as little or as big as it is. But at the same time, know and believe that you were here and created for something more. And that's the dissatisfied part. You can have gratitude and at the same time realize you were created for more.
That's a tough one though. I don't know. There's got to be a point where maybe there's enough. But I also see what he's saying, that you should always be striving for something more and more and more. But to me, I don't know, maybe I'm at a different point where sometimes it just feels like you're on the hamster wheel for the sake of being on the hamster wheel, to be able to like, hey, here's what I'm doing. So I'm sure there's more to it, but maybe I'm not as enlightened as I should be. I don't know. Maybe we all have different phases in life.
The world isn't as it is, the world is as you are, and it is a mirror. So if you want the rest of the thing to get better, you got to get better. And it's based on what you see when you look in that mirror. Are you capable? Are you creating? Are you pushing forward? That's the most powerful lesson out of all of them.
Well, let me know what you guys think of all this down below in the comments. Overall, it's fantastic advice, and I hope my own spin on some of these things maybe helps as well. I know a big part of my audience is between the ages of like 18 to 24. I think that's like 60% of my audience is like that age bracket. So if that's you, now is the time to really like get this sorted, start getting your life in order, start saving as much money as possible, investing consistently, working in your career. Hopefully that all helps. And no matter what, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done that already. So thanks so much. I'll link to this video down below in the description for anyone who wants to support Dan, watch his video. Thank you so much, and until next time.